Right, let's fix a MacBook. It's pretty basic. We're replacing the battery on it. It's an A1466 if I'm not mistaken. The battery has been replaced by a third party, and I think it's a non-genuine battery, which is why it's lasted 3 months and the problem has reappeared. Yes, it is an A1466. Right, let me look for a foam pad where I can rest this so I'm not scratching it. Okay, and a bit of light, some proper screwdrivers, Wearer, German built, absolutely lovely. I've got a massive set here, a very comprehensive set, I should say. I hope this, no, that's not the one, it's not going to do it, I'm afraid. Nope, none of these will do it. Right, so I remember using something else last time. Let me just sort of remember, I've got it here somewhere. It's all on these. It's not going to be a Wearer. It's going to be a cheap Chinese crappy. Yep. And unfortunately, Wearer. It's a bit of a disappointment, that. I hope you guys have a good day, wherever you are. I'm just busy. I can't, just as much as I want to sort of upload some of the complicated repair videos. One of the frustrating factors is that the microscope what I have doesn't have a webcam facility, so it kind of find it quite pointless at some point where you're doing complicated repairs and you can't upload them because you can't sort of show what you're doing rather than just a camera view like this. So there will be some graphic chip replacement will be taking place soon, so hopefully, fingers crossed. The only reliable source that I've found for graphic chip replacement is Golden Chipset so far. Beside them, anywhere and everywhere I bought stuff I've been, you know, it's dodgy. I mean, if AMD's not producing this chip, how can they have a batch for 2017, 2018? How is it possible? All they're doing is they're polishing the surface, the die itself, and laser etching with fake dates. That's what my belief is. So okay, so let me ground myself, because first thing first, this is a very sensitive equipment, so I do not want to be popping it just because of a slow, stupid neglect. It's a replacement battery. It does say quite obviously replacement battery, so it's not a genuine battery. That's perfectly understandable. Let's start taking these off. Yeah, coming back into the graphic chip issue, as I said before, so far I've not had any issues with Golden Chipset. The chipsets are, the BGA graphic chips are expensive to buy from them, but I've not had any issues, so that's one plus point. Although that you're paying a little bit more, you're not sort of ending up with fake duff chips. Something's holding on to it. Okay, I might need a praying tool. Sort of gently lift this side up, or a pair of tweezers. Yeah. So that's the battery what's come, lasted 3 months and it's gone. Right, so let's bring out our original battery that's been delivered. Let's bring that out. Looks pretty much the same. But it's not the same battery because Right, where it says here, designed by Apple in California, assembled in China, A1466, whatever, blah blah blah. Okay. There's a serial number at the back of this. Let's have a look at that one. That doesn't have a serial number, so that's the original battery, which is, it looks kind of really identical, but there are a few things that needs to be thinking. Sorry guys, you're gonna have to excuse me, I'm gonna have to answer this phone call, so I'll be back in 2 minutes. sorry guys, really sorry, I had to pick this phone up because there's been an issue, so that needed to be addressed. Okay, so what's the difference between the genuine and non-genuine battery that I can actually see from here? Right, so first thing first is that on the right is the non-genuine battery, on the left is the genuine battery. The genuine battery has a serial number. Turn it around, it looks kind of identical, but on here, on the non-genuine battery, it does quite clearly say it's a replacement battery, blah blah blah. Okay, and it says A1405, A1496, A1377, so it's pretty much the same battery with all the CE approved marking and so on and so forth. It's made in China. The original battery, on the other hand, is got, as I said before, designed by Apple in California, assembled in China, model A1496, Leon polymer for 7.6 volt, blah blah blah. The capacity is 7 to 150 mAh. And just it says service only by an Apple authorized service provider. That's interesting. I'm not an Apple certified or authorized service provider, so sorry Apple, I'm installing your stuff without your... Anyway, enough said. Turning it around this way, obviously the differences, slight differences. This is a bit glossy, this is matte. These two pieces here are just matte on the original battery, and these are just glossy. Anyway, let's put a sticker, one of my own trademark on, and then install the battery, charge it, and let's crack on with it, because I don't want this video going too lengthy. So let's put that warranty sticker on. Lovely red warranty sticker, hey? Woo! No messing about. No messing about with me, right? Okay, so where would I like to put that on? How about I put it underneath here? Yep, nice. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the date of install. That would be what we're on now. We're on the 30th. And the length of warranty, let's have a look at the purchase date. The trouble with batteries is what you've got to be careful, unfortunately, is that you've got to charge the battery appropriately, and fully charge, discharge. I'm just checking the list, year, model. Okay, I'll just put it. Anyway, as I was saying, that the batteries have got to be careful. You can't just, don't run a new or even a used battery constantly plugged in, because by doing so you'll just damage the battery. You will damage the battery. That's my trademark. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a note of the serial number of the battery as well, just so that I'll put it on the invoice. Right, so that's going to get, let's put this back in. Install. Just make sure it's got Loctite on, because what I don't want to be doing is right, I need to put some Loctite on these. Not very pleased with the way they're looking, so it's all about attention to detail. What I don't want is that the screws are not tight enough and then they're coming off, shorting the board out. Some will say that's not, why do you need to worry about this? Of course I need to worry about this, because it's someone else's MacBook. They're paying for a service, and the service has, you know, you've got to, as a repairer, I have to make sure that things are done in a proper manner, you know, if I feel that I've got to put a bit of Loctite and make sure that those screws are not coming off, then I'll do it. The other thing you've got to bear in mind is that the edging is, these edges are plastic, so if I put excessive stress on, it will crack. So I have to sort of tighten the screw firmly, and then Loctite will do the rest of its work, so I don't have to sort of over tighten it and break the edges off the plastic battery holder or battery assembly. So we're going to just firm tight, that's it. The Loctite will do the rest. Just put ever so slight. It has been opened before, obviously, no doubt about that. Battery's been replaced with air non-genuine, but the screws, the point what I was trying to make is that the screw seems to be a little bit rounded off. Feel awkward with working with these friggin' cheap ass screwdrivers, absolutely awkward. I'm so used to it. They're pretty good, but the unfortunate thing is this is like a star, whereas that one's a hexagon shape, and I wish there was a star with a screw set. I'd literally buy them immediately. If there is, then let me know. If it's Weira brand, absolutely. If it's anything else, not interested. See, it's just hands are sleeping. I'm not really pleased with the way this is going, but only tiny amount of Loctite. Only tiny amount of Loctite. Okay, so that's done. Let's do a quick overall. Okay, that's not what it came in for. See, a simple battery change can lead to other issues. There's chocolates in there I need to get rid of. And also what I'm going to do for him as a courtesy is a reverse blowout of the fan. So I'm going to have to get the compressor back on. But back on, it never was on. Compressor on. Let me just get rid of, oops, be careful with those screws. This is what I hate about, yeah, fan seems to be a bit dirty, so I'm going to do a reverse blowout just so that it clears the fan and the system's not overheating. I would like to refresh the thermal paste, but nah, we're just going to leave it. The idea is not to fix something that's not broke, so yeah. Whew. Let me put that big fan on. Dust. The only reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, just want to get it. It's there and I can do it, so let's just do it. The trouble is I'm just a dust freak. I do have a little portable hoover which is upstairs and I can't be bothered getting it down, because I've got to put it back up again, and I'm not sort of keen on doing that, but I'm going to have to get it down at some point anyway. But just don't like the idea of dust. Right, okay, get this going. I'll leave that big fan on just so that it can suck out all the dust that I'm going to end up inhaling. Obviously not to forget to put the battery connector on. Let's crack on with these screws. Man, it's painful working with these screwdrivers. Flipping it shows how much of a difference a set of screwdrivers would make. I mean, it's absolute friggin' nightmare. I need to find a pair of decent screwdrivers for these Macbook. It's a painful experience. Look at how it's slipping out of my hand, basically, the screws and everything. Just ridiculous, man. I've got a little magnet with a bit of a heat shrink around it, so just to sort of get the screws to sort of keep it in place, basically. And the way I've done it is I can quickly just take this out. If you can see it here, quickly see it and stick it into another drive. So for argument's sake, take this out, stick it into this. I've got loads of magnet, but you don't want to be putting magnets on every single screwdriver, because they're all like, when you want to use one, they're all attached to another, and it's a massive, not a massive, but it's annoying. It's just annoying, basically, to try and separate them. I mean, I've got a few here that's attached at the end of the box here, and look, I mean, look at all that. Just that's not, you want to pick this up and everything's coming away. So try not to use every screwdriver with a magnet attached to it. So the next step is to sort of obviously plug the charger in and test the battery. Hopefully there's no password, but if there's a bit of if there's a password in there, then there's very little I can do from my side. Okay, so that'll go. This shitty screwdriver will go back in his shitty place. Let's tidy this up. Okay, let's turn it upside down. I will give the screen a bit of a clean after. In fact, it's a bit dirty, so no, my special alcohol thing is no longer here. So, no, okay, that's alright. So, what charger do I need now? Let's have a look. The long 5-pin, right, okay, so MacBook Air, MacBook Air. What is this? This is MacBook Air. Original charger, but it's for the look at this tangle. It's all tangled. Ding. didn't shine. It's turning on. I've got an amber light here. I don't know if you can see it. Let's zoom in. Yep, just about. You can see the amber light. So that's that, but otherwise it seems like it's locked. It's got a password on, so unfortunately I can see this battery's 97% charged, but the unfortunate thing is that I needed to discharge the battery, so that's not going to happen. I'll give it a good charge and leave it there. The problem you have is, maybe I want to talk to you about this on this video. When I'm dealing with retailers and doing jobs for retailers, I lose out. I lose out quite immensely. When I'm dealing directly with customers, it's more beneficial to me, because with the retailers, when you're doing jobs and they're outsourcing the job onto me, I've got to give them a discounted price, and this is where the loss comes in, basically. Secondly, that the retailer will not pass customers' details onto me. So this is a typical example where I want to test it, password's not been disclosed, and the problem I have now is that I can't test the battery, because the idea was that I'm going to discharge the battery and then recharge it several times up until to a point where tomorrow the unit is due to be returned back to the shop. So that's not going to happen because I haven't got the information for the customer, and I doubt it very much that the password details have been taken by the retailer, otherwise it would have been here. But the other thing is that time is money from a business point of view, and you have to value your own time. You have to value it, right? There is no such thing as free estimates, free this, free that, because that's nothing but being stupid. And the reason why I say this, and I stand by that, I don't give a monkey about who says what and who feels how, but the reality of the matter is that you have to value your time. When you're diagnosing a unit, the way I would deal with is charge them a bare minimum fee. Say for example £20 to £30 to have a look at the unit. However, if the customer accepts the estimate once you've established what the fault is, then as a courtesy you can waive that charge of diagnostic, £20, £30, whatever you charged, and just have a fixed labour charge plus PATs plus VAT, whatever, etc, etc. But if by spending 1 hour of your time, for example, and you've troubleshooted and it came down to an issue with such a thing or number of things, and you know the customer decides that no, I'm not fixing it, it's not worth fixing, the so-called it's not worth fixing, then the problem is that you're in loss because you've spent an hour troubleshooting, testing, finding out what the problem is, and you told the customer what the issue is. Now, the other thing to remember is not to, you want to be honest with the customer, tell them what's wrong with it, but there are smart leech out there that what they'll do is they'll try and establish what's wrong with it, and then once you've told them what the problem is, they'll try and say, oh no, I don't want to have it fixed, it's not worth fixing, and then next thing you sort of gather is that they've gone away and bought themselves all the parts and tried fixing themselves. Now, how do I know this? Do I have any proof of that? Well, you know what? Yes, I do. I've been a victim of that. I won't say I've been a victim of that, but a victim is not the right phrase, but I've seen it happening with me. So for that reason, what I've done is I've gone into a strict business approach. For me to have a look at it, it'll cost you, say, 20 to 30 quid, depending on the item. Yes, you will get a reimbursement once you've accepted the estimates. If for any reason I can't do the repair because I don't have the capability of doing it, or I don't have the equipment to do it, or whatever, then that surcharge will not apply. They will not be paying that surcharge because I am the one who's declined and said I can't do it for you. It's fair and well to say, you know, the word what we use is no fix, no fee. Yes, you can apply that on that, only on that basis. But other than that, if you're diagnosing stuff and have a bare minimum fee, and maybe you want to sort of as a courtesy just reimburse it back if the customer decides to repair and go ahead with the repair. And that's what I do here. That's exactly what I do here. You know, I'm not wasting my time diagnosing and testing people's equipment, finding what the fault is and telling them what the fault is. Then they turn around and say, I'm sorry, we're not having it fixed because it's not worth it. Now, you're prepared to reject spending, say, £100 on a laptop, and it's not worth fixing, or it's too expensive, or blah blah blah, you know, all these excuses they can come across. But then it's okay for you to go out and spend about £500-600 on a laptop. You can easily afford to do that, but you don't want to fix this. That's where the technician's time is being wasted, which is why I encourage any and whatever repair you do, even phone repairs. I have a diagnostic cost. I will charge somebody a minimum of £10 to £15-20, depending on which phone it comes in and what the level of damage is. Basically, I've got a TriStar tester, I've got battery testers, I've got equipments that I bought that cost me hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds. If I'm spending days in day out just repairing, you know, diagnosing people's phones, where's my earning? Where do I gain from it? Absolutely nothing. I'd be just washing my hands every day and just with no cash flow, nothing at all. So it's very important that they pay a lot of attention. And what's recently happened, well, I wouldn't say recently, for the many years now, what's happened? There are, I don't like saying this actually, but there are wholesalers within Greater Manchester. Oh man, the repair industry has become absolutely bollocks, absolute bollocks. An iPhone repair, iPhone screen change, Apple charges say 150, 160 quid, whatever it is. Some of these retailers are charging like 20, 25, 30 quid. For older phones like iPhone 5, iPhone 5S and things. I understand that the screens are available and you can buy them for next to nothing. But you've got to value your time again. What's happened now is that everybody's undercutting everyone now. So if a retailer is doing it for, say, £30, the retailer next to him will do it for 25 quid. The retailer next to him will do it for 20 quid. And they're just doing one another over. Who's benefiting it from it? Not the retailer. The customer's benefiting. And also the customer's getting the wrong impression. And when I say wrong impression, that they're buying cheap imitation screens. Yes, there are authorised and decent resellers on eBay, internet, where you can get decent screens from. Fair enough. And they may all work. Even the cheaper ones may work. But the point of the matter is that it's changing a phone screen and you're charging 20-25 quid. Where's your markup? You're living off of £10. Is that how you value your time? It's not a question I'm asking you guys. It's the question that I'm trying to ask to these stupid idiots out there that are doing what they're doing and just jeopardising and destroyed the entire repair business. I stick to my prices. I will put whatever I put in, you know, decent screens I will put in. Everything I do is done in a professional manner. The phone does get sealed back. So any phone that needs to be IP rated, I do put seals back on them. Most retailers, I would say most retailers, but the retailers I know of, they won't even bother doing that. They just sling the screen back and then off you go. It's not their problem. Of course it's not your problem, but the bottom line is that for you to, if you're charging customers a fair amount of money and the customers are willing to pay, then you need to make sure that the job is done right. This customer had the decency to pay a decent amount of money to have an original battery, so we've actually ordered an original battery and we've supplied and fitted a original battery. It's as simple as that. So the tip of the day is value your time. It's how you deal with the customer and you're educating the customer is a knock-on effect on you as well and everybody else. So my advice to you and everybody that's dealing with these sort of repair is have everything in an order. Try and work together if you can. You know, in the same area, have a unity, work together, and just take it from there. So anyway, that's all. My battery's going to be dead. Take care, and all the best. Bye for now.